Welcome to Unpacking with Jennifer. I'm your host, Jennifer Satel. This is the podcast where we get real about all the things, from raising kids and managing family life to balancing work, endless activities, and somehow keeping your home organized through it all. As a mom and a professional home organizer, I know firsthand how overwhelming it can be. But here's the thing, organizing isn't just about pretty containers and tidy shelves. It's about creating systems that work for your busy life, so you can spend more time enjoying your family and less time searching for lost shoes. Each week, we'll dive into everything from decluttering your home to simplifying your schedule, handling the chaos of kids' activities, and finding that elusive balance between work and family life. Because let's be honest, we're all trying to figure it out. So if you're ready to unpack the mess both inside and out, hit that subscribe button and join me on my all-new show, Unpacking with Jennifer, launching February 19th, with all new episodes dropping every Wednesday, and I can't wait to tackle it all together. Available everywhere you get your podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Jennifer_Satel. Hey guys, welcome to our first podcast. I'm here with my executive producer, Kimberly Lovey.
Congratulations. We're so excited. I'm so excited for you to launch your show. We have been talking about this for, 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, right? A while.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Finally, I was like, I'm so excited too, because I just needed that last little push. New year, new everything. And I just love talking to you, and it's so exciting for me and hopefully for the listeners.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, you gave me the chills. I'm so excited. Well, welcome everybody. So today we are going to unpack Jennifer herself and give you a little behind the scenes if you are new to her. And if you're not, you can just come and listen and maybe learn something new about her. We actually have some surprises that we're going to share shortly, so definitely stay tuned. But how are you feeling right now? Are you nervous?
I'm nervous. I love to talk, but it's very different when you're just talking for everyone. And I have no issue talking. I have no shortage of stories and all of the things, but it is I have little butterflies right now.
Yeah, totally normal. Totally normal. I'm very brave, by the way, to speak. You'll get used to it, but your listeners will let you know that, hey, we love when you're just talking to us like you're our best friend. That's what I found is the real key to success. But beyond that, you, my love, are a wealth of knowledge for both your business, your family. So do you mind kind of sharing a little bit about where you live? You don't have to give us your address. Maybe just kind of where you live, and do you have a family life? Just share a little bit about you.
Yes, I live in Chatsworth. I have lived here for about 10 years. I grew up in the Valley, though. I grew up in the Burbank area, and I grew up there, went to private school. My whole high school and elementary school life, went to the same school. I was pretty much a lifer, branched off, and then reconnected with my friend at the time when we were in fourth grade, and we reconnected about 12 years ago, and now we're married, and it's just funny how that's turned around. I never thought I'd be back in LA, and his family business is here, so I came back to to make it work and do all the things. And it's been wonderful. And we have a daughter. She's 8 years old. And
What's her
I
name?
don't know. He has his own business. I started my own business, and it's just, we have a wonderful journey together. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm sure I can dive into it another time deeper, but that's the nutshell version of it.
Yes. And so what's your daughter's name?
Her name is Charlotte. She is in third grade, and she's going on 15, apparently.
Listen, my 2-year-old just started putting on lip gloss because she got it from my Charlotte. I have a Charlotte too that's 7. So look, I'm not here to judge, right?
Yes, yes.
We're unpacking the real stuff here.
Sometimes she says stuff, I'm like, where did you even hear that? And apparently, nowadays kids are on YouTube or YouTube videos and all of this. Well, I didn't have that when I was growing up. So I feel like her vocabulary is more of a high schooler or, middle schooler than a third grader, but it's just fun.
Well, since we're unpacking that for a second, Jennifer, does she use the term sus? You know how the teenagers use that? Or
Yes.
bro? Have you gotten any of
Yes.
that?
And bruh. Well,
Bruh.
apparently I say it wrong when I repeat it and say, don't call me bro. And she's like, it's not bro, it's bruh or whatever. And I'm like, it's nothing. You're not saying it at all. I'm not your bro. I'm your mom. I'm your mommy. Remember
We're
when you
all
called me
having
mama?
that. Yeah. I, God,
Oh,
it's crazy. And then, yeah, my kids are, because I've got three kids, and my kids, when they started calling me mom, and again, my sweet 2-year-old, she goes, Mom. I'm like, okay, you are two. How about mama, mommy? It's just like, I can't. We just can't. Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
not mom, and I'm not your bro, and I'm not your bra.
exactly. Oh,
And I actually
God.
had to ask Charlotte. I had to ask my Charlotte what sus was. Like I had to think about it, and I'm like, why are we even say? Like, what is this
How did we get
lingo? I
here?
don't. I don't understand it. I don't. I
These are the
know
moments
we
that
made
you
a turn, and
realize
I don't know if we're turning back.
no, you're not. You're just going to full steam ahead. And okay, that is so cute about you and your husband that you guys knew each other in fourth grade. Now, where were you living? Because you said you moved back to make it work. Where were you?
Oh, so when I graduated high school, I moved down to San Diego, and I lived there for about 12 years. And then I had a job. I used to work in corporate America, and that's a whole other story. But they had me move up to San Jose, and I happened to be down for a holiday break, and I was down in San Diego, and a group of our friends that are still, because we went to a private Christian school, so not huge, classes. Our class was like 175 kids. A lot of us still kept in the same circle. So they were doing drinks like the day after Christmas or something in like Eagle Rock, and David showed up, and I hadn't seen him since probably my senior year of graduation. And it was just like, we just started talking, and it just felt so organic and comfortable. And he was, out of a relationship, and I was out of a relationship. And it just, but we did long distance for 2 years. I was still in San Jose for 2 years. So we were just doing weekends or phone all the time. I traveled a lot with my job. So I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to live here up here anymore. So I came back, and we said, can we live together? Can we do this? And we found this place in Chatsworth, and we jumped in. I had
Okay.
never really lived with anybody, and yeah, we jumped in with both feet.
I love that. And I have a real question about this. It's just because now let's like really start from the beginning. And this ties into your business, which we will dive into also in a second. But I
Yes.
was literally thinking about it this morning when I was making the bed. And I was like, my husband's never going to make the bed, even though he gets out last. Oh, well, like it is what it is. It's a trade-off. And I just like have to let it go. And this is like this is the real talk, right? We're not putting on the Ritz here, folks. But I guess what was so, and I was giggling to myself because I was like, I remember when I moved in with my husband and I was like, oh, he's so organized and neat. This is great because I'm very like tidy. And then it wasn't until I like really lived with him and I was like, oh, it's his housekeeper. She's really organized. He's not. So he duped me a little bit. I'm just letting you
She's
know.
super neat and tidy.
She's super neat and tidy.
He did.
So what was your experience moving in with your husband? Tell me it's similar, please.
Well, that is hilariously funny because it's spot on. Him and I are very opposite. He kind of comes from a generational, I don't want to say hoarder like what you see on the shows, but they just blue collar, all the stuff, but it's generational. And I am not. I'm just not. Obviously, that's why I have my business, and that's why. And in the beginning, though, I didn't quite know how much crap he had and how he is very meticulous with certain things because he has to repair stuff and do stuff. So obviously, he's very meticulous, but just kind of how messy he is with life. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was like, "Hey, I feel like you are very messy, and I did not know that about you." And he's like, "What?" And anyways, yeah, he kind of duped me too, I feel. But certain things he'll fixate on, and when I would see that, I'd think, "Oh man, he'll clean something and do something for an hour that could take 2 minutes, and then everything else is a bomb." So we've had a few little disagreements. Like the garage is off limits to me. He will not let me even say anything really about it. So I just smile and nod and think, all right, this is never changing. I thought it would in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. I really was like, this is going to change. And it has not. And I've lost many battles.
Okay, that is so validating. And I also think it's so relatable because I know there are people listening that are like, oh, thank God it's not just me. Like, I can't
Yeah.
tell you the envy I have when I go to, like, I just went to our friend's house. She's a stay-at-home mom. Her husband has this like really high profile, demanding job. And their home, first of all, it's just a beautiful home. They did a beautiful job with their construction. But their home, you could eat off the floors. And I didn't see a single pile anywhere. And she was like, "Oh, I just had people at my house for like a month yesterday." So I know for a fact she didn't just clean up for me because she didn't have time. Like the turnaround time wouldn't add up. Like I'm like analyzing this, right? And she's like, "Well, yeah, me and my husband, we just don't like stuff." And I'm just like, "Oh, that's dreamy. I'm so jealous." But like, I guess is that let me ask it this way. So I think part of it is we just have to accept it, but like I have found that there's certain
Yeah.
areas that are his and certain areas that are like my domain that I like, for example, the kitchen, that's
Mm-hmm.
mine. I own it. There's certain, like our
Mm-hmm.
baby's room, I own that domain. Then he has his man cave. That's his domain. So that's the way we've kind of like managed through it, even though it irks me still. But, my husband's so lovely
Yeah.
that my mom would be like, if this is the worst thing, be lucky, you're lucky. So, what do you think about
True. You know what? That's so funny. My mom said the exact same thing to me in the beginning because I was struggling. I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like I just was like, "I can't." And she kind of said the same thing. This is the worst thing. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
and I'm
he's not
like, "Yeah,
cheating
it's
on
true." So
you.
we have an extra bedroom that yeah, he's not cheating on me. He's not hiding stuff from me.
He's not
He's just
gambling.
messy. And
Yes,
it's just yeah, exactly. He hasn't like sold kidneys to pay for his gambling debt or anything like that,
right.
but he does have shit everywhere in his room. And he has like a little man cave too. He calls it his
Oh,
collectibles. I
right.
call it junk, but whatever.
Same,
you know.
girl,
But yeah,
same.
you know, yeah, he's like, "Oh, that's my collectible room. I'm gonna get shelves for my collectibles." I'm like, "You mean your crap? Fine, sure, whatever." Yeah, so I have areas, yeah, that are I have
His
areas that,
domain and her
please,
domain.
please, yeah, please don't, like, let's pick up, and I just kind of handle it, and I'm okay with it. Every once in a while, I do walk in his man room, and I silently cry, and then I and then I leave, and I say it's fine. It doesn't affect me. I close the door, and it doesn't affect me. It's done.
That's what my mother-in-law says. She's
But
like,
he
"You
knows.
literally put on your blinders." She's like, "Some rooms, I just put on my blinders. I just
Yeah,
completely ignore it, or I close the door."
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And it was funny because like not that long ago, like right around during the holidays, I was actually hiding, some stuff in the room, like presents and stuff in his room, because no one goes in there. And I opened the door, and I hadn't opened it a long time, and I was like, "Oh, sweet baby Jesus." And then I was like, "Okay, close the door. I'm gonna walk backwards," and I never saw anything.
We're gonna erase it because I can't take it on. I think that's what it comes down to for those ladies listening is like it has to become an exercise of almost like prioritization of like, well, one, your mental health, but also just prioritization of like what you can truly control because there's enough out there for us to do. I just have to be like, you know what?
Oh
I
yeah,
can't, it's not going to be perfect. I have kids. One day they're going to move out. One day I'll be able to like micromanage my husband. But right now, that's not where my energy is best spent. And it's okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying
yeah,
to tell myself this.
yes, and that's hard. Yeah, and it was hard because I'm sure, I'm a pretty independent woman and, I've always kind of had that. I'm an only child, so control, right? We control everything, and to be in a relationship or to be moving in with someone who has 9,000 boxes of crap and you have like 4, um, and most of it's yearbooks, like it's not even anything like collectible, but you just I had to like lose the control of that and just say, you know what, I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with, there's still sometimes I'm like, oh no, 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 no. But I've gotten better, and he understands and I understand, and yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like it's the underbelly of a relationship that not everybody talks about. And then I look at my friends that like they're both on the
Yeah.
same page in terms of like tidiness levels. But then I say, this is what I say to myself is like, well, that guy I know has other things that would irk me, or, that couple, they have other things that they have to sort through. And so, okay, maybe they're tidy, but maybe there's
Absolutely.
something else. Like nobody's perfect, no relationship's perfect. And that's what I try and remind myself. But it's
Yeah.
just validating for us to be able to say, yes, this happens in marriages. Okay. People, we're not all Instagram perfect, Pinterest perfect. Sorry.
Oh God. Oh
Yeah.
God, no. Oh God, no. And the other thing with that, and obviously, if I talk about my business more, which I will down the road, but typically when I go to houses, not both of them are not organized. One is organized and one isn't. The husband usually says he's the one that's organized, and he actually usually is the one that has the most crap,
Oh,
because
wow.
most of that is like it really is. Now the house itself, yeah, the kids stuff. I mean, that is in every home. The toys, the little crappy little pieces of toys and everything. But the husband, usually, not always, he has all his sports stuff from when he was a kid and like his baseball cards and then he wants to keep old DVDs and old movies because he's not ready to part with those. Like all the things that are in bins in the garage, but half of those are their bins. And I see sometimes there's tension because he'll say, just throw everything away. And then I'll say, well, did you want to go through your stuff? And he'll be like, oh, no, 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 no. This is like collectible stuff. Oh, okay, okay. So it's just funny. It like you see so many things, but typically two people in the house are not both tidy. And sometimes it's in reverse. Sometimes it's the woman that's super organized and it's the man who just like can't part with anything, whatever. I've seen so many different things that I can talk everyone's ear off, but it's just interesting to see. Everyone assumes David and I, because we're together, he's like, oh, so your house must be, and I'm like, yeah, it's organized. I also have a little girl and she has friends over, but he's not. So it looks great for the most part, but it's never going to be picture perfect, and I'm okay with that, and I have to be okay with that.
Yeah, I love it. That this is the real talk. So, and I do think this is a great time for you to explain a little bit about your business, which is also the essence of why we picked the name of your show. So, can you talk a little bit about your
Yes.
business, and then we can maybe talk a little bit we can talk a little bit about some surprises around your name of the show and things.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so a very quick, just bullet points of my background is visual presentation and space planning in like retail stores. And I did corporate America for about 20 years. And then when I was pregnant with Charlotte, and I was on, leave the 12 weeks or whatever. And all of a sudden it was 6 weeks in, and I literally had, I would say, a panic attack. I absolutely was, Charlotte was not going to daycare. And also, it's so expensive. I had to really think about like, how is this going to work? And, there's all these logistical things. But the first thing I said was, she's absolutely not going to a daycare. It's not going to happen. My mom lives in San Diego, so I didn't have that crutch to, she could help a little bit, but she also works. So that wasn't, really doable. So I panicked. I absolutely panicked. I started freaking out about, oh my gosh, it's already half my time. What am I going to do? And I don't remember exactly if somebody had told me or I saw something about organizing homes and offices and all the things kind of in that line. And I just, when she was napping, I would just power through. I'm like, oh, this is a thing. And it's funny because when I would go to my friend's house in like high school and even right out of, if we were there, just sitting at their house, just like, just talking, being girls, whatever. I'd be like, let me organize your closet. I can't take it. Or let me organize your bathroom while we're doing this. And it just became a thing. And I was like, I didn't know this was a thing. And this was, 9 years ago. This was almost 9 years ago. And I researched and I was like, it's a thing, but I don't really have a budget to market. So people told me about Facebook mommy groups. And I just took some before and after pictures of like my friends. I went to their house and took some before, did closets or kitchen, even just like a pantry, things that we always find to be very messy. And I just started posting where I could on the Facebook mommy groups. And this May will be 9 years. And I really told myself, if I can do this until she's one, I just wanted to do it until she was one. I wanted to not have to go back to corporate America and do, all the stuff. And then I was like, but I really don't want to do that. I don't want to go back to corporate America. I don't want her to be there 40 hours a week and whatever. So I just figured it out. And I'm so lucky. I did a lot of networking events. I did a lot of mommy group things and lunches and stuff when I could. When I did have some help, if my mom or my mother-in-law could watch Charlotte, I would try to do these things. And, I enjoy it so much. It's so satisfying for me personally because I see the joy on people's faces when you see them take that deep breath when you leave and they're like, wow, like, oh my gosh, like you did this in 8 hours or 5 hours or 3 hours, whatever. And this would have taken me 6 months and it still isn't done. So, but anyways, that I digress, but I just, put in the work now, obviously. I never in a million years thought it would continue. And I'm busier than I've ever been, especially in the last like 3-4 years. It's almost all referral based. I don't even really market myself anymore in terms of I haven't done a lot of networking events just because I don't have the time. But I love it. I enjoy it. And it really does bring me happiness for people because I have no emotion going into people's houses and it makes it very easy for me and it's hard for them because they're looking at every piece of paper, everything. And I'm just, I just kind of guide them. So yeah, I've been doing that and it's amazing and it's wonderful. And I'm just very blessed. And I know that.
Wow. And
that's
when you go
my
in,
story in a nutshell.
I love it. I love that because it really shows your commitment to your family. And it also shows your entrepreneurialism. Wow, that was a word. Okay. And no, it shows how
And
entrepreneurial
also,
you are.
like I said, yeah, thank you. And also, like, I had no idea. I didn't even know when Charlotte was, 6 weeks old. I didn't know about the Facebook mommy groups. Like, I couldn't believe this existed in a world where I'm like, what was I doing while she was napping? Because I was never sleeping. And I just discovered it. And they were so welcoming. And, some of them, it would have like free business advertising for moms on Fridays or, so I tried to take advantage of, the stuff that didn't cost. And
I
networking
love that.
events, $50 to go and meet other moms and other people doing, whatever it is they were doing. And it was just so awesome. And I'm so lucky because I just went after school. After college, I just jumped into the corporate world. That's what I
Yep.
did. I didn't know any of
Yeah.
this. And I always wanted to have my own business. And I can't say that, it wasn't hard in the beginning because it was, you're trying to balance being a new mom and all of those things. And even now I'm struggling sometimes to balance my schedule, but I just am so lucky that there were all these tools that I'm sure 20 years ago, there was no Facebook mommy groups. Like you just had to do it. And I'm just very lucky. I don't take that for granted, but I do enjoy having my own business and being able to kind of take time off when I need it. And I don't have to ask anybody's permission
I
except my
love it.
own.
I love it. And well, and there's a saying like I have the worst boss, and it's like yourself. My boss is so demanding. It's like you're your own boss.
Yeah.
I'm like that with
My
my
boss
business, and I think,
never lets me do anything.
yeah, my boss is so demanding. You never know, they never let me do anything. Well, I love that. And for folks listening, because I'm sure that folks that are not near us here in Southern California, I'm sure you're going to get questions on, is there any kind of way that you can work remotely with folks, or is it really more in person is the best way to work with you?
It's interesting that you say that because during COVID, that weird time in our lives for those first, couple, 3, 4 months, especially that first wave, I did have people asking me if I would do like a Zoom with them and they would walk me through their house and ask, because I go in and organize, but I also, organizing, obviously, that's the fun part, right? That's the fun part for me, at least. I love making things look great and it's all, color and this and there's bins and stuff. But the reality is some people need help buying furniture that is like conducive for extra space because maybe their closets are small. So I help them make sure to get a piece that has hidden drawers or secret compartments where they can kind of hide stuff, or I help people like redo rooms and that type of thing. So with that being said, during COVID, I would do Zoom calls and walk through their rooms with them and say, this is what I think, ABC, whatever. Give them links. I would send them links to furniture. So I send links to people to furniture that I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. Doesn't mean you have to like it, but I want you to see a starting point and you go from there and you pick and we can discuss it further. If you're like, I like this, but I don't like this. So that's what I was doing, especially during that time. Another thing I have done, and I know this sounds like I love going to people's houses for consultations, but I have to say, because of my schedule, sometimes it's challenging to cut out that hour in the middle of the day to then drive, to Pasadena or to wherever. So a lot of times I'll have people just send me a video or send me pictures. And then we can chat about it on the phone and talk about it if they maybe don't have the budget to have me. But they can do that, like a consultation, but via phone, photos, video, and it's
Wow.
easier for everybody too, because everyone's
Okay.
busy. So it's hard to pair up sometimes.
That's great. Okay, so for those of you listening, if you're not in SoCal, then you can still work with Jennifer and reach out to her on her Instagram, which
Yes.
we will have linked in the show notes. It's Jennifer_Satel, which leads me to my next point with you. So, can we share something that kind of organically came out as so this is a little deep dive behind the scenes of her podcast. So first of all, I'm obsessed with the title and the concept. Can you first of all tell us about your vision for the podcast for folks just that might want to hear from you? What is the essence of it?
Oh, the essence. So I love talking in general. I love talking. And I kind of was thinking how it is when I go and have brunch or the girls are just sitting and talking and we talk about life, work, kids, whatever. And I kind of was like, yes, absolutely. I want to talk about my business because I think that there's a lot, just saying organizing, there's a lot in that. That's a very large umbrella. But it's unpacking everything. It's things with your friends and relationships and having a little one in school and mommy groups and play dates and and like people's personalities and just life and all this stuff. It's not always platinum. Sometimes it's you have moments where you need to talk it out. And I thought, what a fantastic way to reach out to everybody and just let's talk about whatever we want to talk about today. And then the next time we do the same thing with a different topic that's heavy on our minds. And sometimes it's funny. Most of the time it's funny. It's all fun stuff, but sometimes it's kind of real. It's real.
Yeah,
And
I
that's what I
love it.
wanted it to be. I really wanted it to be that.
I love that. And I
Yeah.
absolutely love the concept. And I can't wait to continue to unpack. And for those of you that want Jennifer to unpack something either around, tactically and practically for your home organizing, specific rooms or questions, how do I organize my kids' playroom or those kinds of things, or something else like my husband's messy and I'm not, how do I deal with it? Or whatever is on your mind, send her a DM because what we're going to do is we're going to track those DMs. We can give you a shout out unless you say, please keep anonymous, then we will. And we will address your questions or topics moving forward on upcoming episodes. So don't be shy. If there's something that you want her to touch on, then we will make it
Oh
happen for
yeah.
you.
Please, please, please. I
Yeah.
love to talk. I love to I also love to get feedback too. So if you have any questions or ideas, please, let us know. Let me know.
For sure. Okay, so then I'm going to start really breaking. Now we're going to get under the hood, okay? Because this is our real talk.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh
speaking
yeah.
of the podcast, so Jennifer approached me. She has this wonderful concept. We're so excited about it. I'm obsessed with the concept. Obviously, it's just so relatable and authentic, which is what we all want, and informative as well. And as we're kind of like crafting it, I'm like, by the way, what is your official last name? Because I saw Satel and then I saw Francis. And what would you like to go by for your show and also for your social media handles? Just want to make sure that we have a cohesive, name for you. And then what happened from there?
Yeah, you and I were chatting, and then I said, well, I don't know that I want to say Francis. I should probably say Satel. And it became a thing because I was like, well, I actually haven't even changed my name. It's been Francis and we've been married a long time, and I should do it. And you're like, well, why haven't you done it? And one of the number one reasons is we all probably have said if we're married or we had to change our name, it's a lot of work. And the other thing that I had said was, you have to go to Social Security and the DMV, and no one, I repeat, wants to go to the DMV. And then when you and I were talking, I was like, well, if I change my name, then it's like real. And, Charlotte's been starting to ask me, she's like, hey, mommy, why haven't you ever changed your name? And I'm like, oh, Charlotte, I don't want to go to the DMV and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And then I was like telling you, well, then it's like real. It's like real if I change my name. And not that I don't absolutely 100%, 1000% committed, but I was just like, oh shit. Now I wouldn't be a Francis anymore. I'd be a Satel. And I guess I just kind of held on to that for like a nanosecond. And I'm like, no, I don't want to hold on to that anymore. So you were like, this is amazing. I'm changing it right now. It's not going to say Francis. It's going to say Satel. And here we are. And it's going to be real because I'm making a DMV appointment.
All right. Okay. So this is like really breaking news. And David is finding out that you're making these steps by listening to this podcast, right? Or are you gonna somehow surprise him?
No, I think I'm going to surprise him with listening to the podcast. I'm going to, because I know he's so supportive of everything I do. And I think I want to be like, hey, will you listen to the first podcast and just like, let me know what you think. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do because I just think it's going to be really special because I did ask him like a year or so ago. I'm like, does it bother you that I haven't changed my name? And he's like, no, but I know I could see that he said no, but I kind of could see. And I think with Charlotte too, she's just like, just change your name. She doesn't understand. So she's like, just what do you mean? And so I think it's just going to be really special. And honestly, I'm really excited that I finally,
I am so excited. I'm excited for your whole family.
And you guys are really the first people to hear this information. Huh?
Yeah, you guys are hearing this first. This is breaking news.
Yeah.
And it's a huge deal.
This is breaking news.
Breaking news, David. Congratulations.
Breaking news.
Finally got your girl to take on your last name. And
finally.
And your daughter, Charlotte, is going to be so happy.
I really love you, David.
Oh,
she's going to be so happy. She's going to be so happy. She's so cute anyway. And she's very emotional about stuff. So it's going to be really special, but that's the way I think I'm going to do it, is just have him listen to get some feedback on what he thinks. Cause I always ask him, and I think it'll just surprise him in there. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Okay. I am loving it. And you do have to give us an update on the next episode so that or at least an upcoming, once he's heard it, depending on how the recording all works, this, from a timing perspective. But when it happens, you have to keep us updated because we're all here for it. And I have a theory about this, and this goes to, again, relatable topics. I have a theory. Now, nobody told me this, and I even think some men might deny it, but I have noticed if you watch a man's face, okay, not their words, like you were observing your husband, I have noticed many times that men don't come out and say it. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't. And they want you to want to take on their last name, and it means something to them. And I think part of the reason why they don't Some men, they'll be more bold and forthright about it, but I think there's a big group of men out there that they don't want to force it upon you and they want you to want their last name. And it really like it's almost like a feather in their cap in a way. Like it's something they're proud of. I don't know.
Yes,
I just think this is a very common
absolutely.
topic and theme. And I don't hear anyone that talks about it, but I also want to ask you because what you said is your reason is really logistics and the work. I've heard that so many times. It makes perfect sense. Um, and I would love it if you could give us maybe like a cheat sheet or some quick guide. Like once you kind of have gone through the process and figured out exactly what needs to happen, I would love it. And I feel
Oh
like
yeah, I
we would
will.
love it if you could tell us, like, for all the women out there that are in the same situation and they don't even know where to begin, can you like give us a little bit of like
Oh
a
yeah.
walk us through it, either in the form of an episode or an Instagram post where you kind of can you break down the steps of what we have to do, at least in California?
Oh my gosh, absolutely, because I'm going to also be learning this too. And I'm just so excited, but going to what you said, yes, I will absolutely. My knowledge is your knowledge. I'm going to pass it along. But what you said, I did see it in his eyes. I did. I really did. Going back to the emotion, they're not going to say it. I think it means a lot to him. But he was like, "Oh no, I mean whatever, it's fine." But I was like, there was like this undertone, and I was like, "All right." And then right after that, I swear, like a week later, Charlotte asked me, and I'm like, are they conspiring against me? Like, what are they doing? So it's going to be really special, and I feel really good about it. And I don't know why I waited. There's obviously something there, but you know,
Well, look, I can say this.
with I can't use excuses of DMV anymore.
Right. But I also like that you just brought that up because it is actually emotional. Or look, I'll say it for myself because I'm sure everyone has their own experience with this. But I will just say, I want to validate that there is an emotion about giving up your maiden name and what happened. Like, I feel like I'm going to start crying. But I remember being very surprised about this. I was always going to take on my husband's name in my mind, so it was never a question for me. But when I was doing it, I got really like emotional because I remember looking at my parents and feeling like I'm leaving them in some way. And I got very emotional about it. Like
Oh
I felt
yeah,
like I was somehow like moving on from them, even though I wasn't. And they live like a mile from me and whatever. But there was deep
no, I
emotion
bet.
attached to that was very unexpected for me. And then my mom, it wasn't until my mom was like, go ahead, like move on to Lovey, like take on that name. And it just like she gave me that like almost like permission and just encouragement. So I don't know. I think
Sure,
that it's a
sure.
real thing.
No, I absolutely do. You yeah, it is. I don't know. It's just like you're getting a little part of you back, away. It's gone. And you're like, "Oh, but you have this huge life and this future and family, your new family." So it's just I don't know. I think you're right. It's just like you almost need that like just pat on the back or like you got this, you're ready, you do this. And maybe you typing Jennifer Francis and then me seeing that and saying shit, we kind of talked about it, maybe that was the pat I needed to be like, well, you know what, I really want it to be Satel.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for your family. Like I know it's going to bring both David and Charlotte so much joy and obviously you too. And you just said and a couple minutes ago, I'm ready. I love it. And
Yeah.
yeah, oh, there was one other thing I was going to say. Now, this doesn't work for everybody and it didn't really work for me, but it is a strategy for those of you out there, contemplating this same topic because it is a very big deal. One of my sister's best friends, she basically made her maiden name her middle name, but she had it like works with her name. So I'm just throwing that out there because for some of you that might work. Like for example, if your maiden name is Smith, like if mine was Smith and I like had this deep emotional connection to it and like I really liked it or I just love my family so much, I would consider just calling myself like Kimberly Smith Lovey because it would keep that emotional tie. But that doesn't work. It didn't work for me, but I would have been open if it had. So it's just another like thing to consider.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is definitely something. And I have seen that too, where they've just kept their maiden name as their middle name. Not many people, but yeah, just a few. But they could do it. You could do it. I'm
Hey,
not going to do it. I'm not going to do that, but
yes, that's
I'm
okay.
going
I
to
didn't do
commit
it
to
either.
Satel. 12
Yes.
years later.
Yes, David, we finally got her. All you needed was to call me
We
and
got
launch
her.
a podcast.
Hook.
Well,
I
I
know.
just
I
think
just need to talk to you.
just talk to me. And I'll give you that little I'll give you the nudge. But that's really great. And I think that this is such a great topic. And I'm so looking forward to hearing more about your episodes and your topics. And I personally would love for you to unpack the playroom if you don't mind, as just I'm just throwing it out there on your topic list. I'll add it as well because we have a little, we track it on a spreadsheet, but the playroom drives me nuts and it's a whole other topic. And I will
Oh
say
yeah.
that the friends of mine that have their playroom upstairs, man, I wish I knew that going into buying my house, but I don't have that luxury. So if you could kindly unpack that, please let me know. And
Yes.
I would really love to listen to your insights.
Oh my gosh, I will absolutely do that. And yes, that's a full episode on that one. But I will say this: when I first started, I'm going to give you a little teaser. When I first started, you know, and Charlotte was not even, she was playing with soft toys. I mean, there was none of this. I would go to these people's houses and I'm like looking at this little crap, right? These little pieces. And the mom would be like, oh no, that's blah, blah, blah. And that's blah, blah, blah. And I would look at them and I'd be like, how do you know this? And they're like, I don't want to know it, but I know it. And then now when I go to people's houses, I know all the shit. I know it all. I'm like, oh, that piece goes to this. They're probably going to want that. And this, and I'm like, oh God, this is crazy. So it was funny, the evolution of that. Cause I was like, who's going to remember all this? And then I find myself freaking remembering it. And I just laugh. I'm like, oh boy.
So
But yeah,
relatable.
playrooms are their own episode in itself.
Oh, God, it's the bane of my existence. And I found that out the hard way by throwing out the wrong piece of one toy and then you ruin the toy. So, yes, we want to hear. Well,
Yes.
congratulations again on your brand new show.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited for you.
I'm
And
so
yeah, it's
excited.
going to
I'm
be
so
fun.
excited.
All right. Well,
Yes.
congratulations. You did your first
And
episode. So, for everybody out there, share
I
this with your friends, support our girl, and, just tune in for next time, right?
Yes, yes. Please tune in. I love to talk. I love to tell stories and help unpack all the stuff we keep in our minds. And I had such a great time talking with you, Kimberly. Thank you so much. And this is just so exciting for me. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Unpacking with Jennifer. I hope you're walking away with a little inspiration and a few practical tips to make life at home just a little bit easier. If you loved today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new one. And if you found it helpful, I love if you left a quick review. It helps more moms like us find the show. Let's keep the conversation going. You can find me on social media at Jennifer_Satel for more organizing tips, behind the scenes moments, and a whole lot of real life. Until next time, take a deep breath, give yourself some grace, and keep unpacking what matters most.